So right now I hold in my hand something that could potentially help me solve the age-old problem that I have here in my Vermont farm. How do I prevent my water from freezing without electricity? And to show you how I'm gonna do it, I think I'm gonna have to use some electricity here. So yes, right here in my hands I have this little device known as the freeze miser. I've been reading about it, I've been studying up on it and contemplating using this all summer and hoping that this might be a solution to help keep my animals watered in the deep cold of our Vermont winter. It's got like a temperature sensitive gauge inside here. It opens itself up when the temperature drops below 37 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 3 degrees Celsius if you're Ginny Barncat. But what happens is you hook this up to the end of a hydrant or a faucet, you let your water run, and it lets just a little bit of water dribble out so that the water's constantly running and moving. And it's supposed to work up to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's how this is supposed to work in theory, but tonight is the night that I'm finally putting this into practice. Overnight tonight, we're gonna get some real freezing temps. It's gonna get down into the 20s for tomorrow morning. And so I'm gonna finally get a chance to put this to the test. My cattle are still on the upper pasture and I still wanna keep them grazing for a few more weeks. And so if this works right, I can keep them up there. But if this fails, I'm gonna have to bring the cattle home for winter very soon. Wish me luck, you guys. Whew, it is a cold one this morning. Just to check of the temperature that I have inside the house there, it's at 26 degrees Fahrenheit. If I look at what was very muddy ground yesterday, you can see it's starting to freeze over. Now I am admittedly very nervous to see what I'm gonna find with my water situation here, so let's check this out. Hello, my large white farm dogs. How are you guys doing? I know two animals who are not affected by the cold. Oh, hi. Toby, stop peeing on the barn. Let's go. You always have to pee on everything, don't you? Oh, Abby, it looks like your water might have frozen, huh? Yeah. So the dog's water bucket froze over last night. That's totally normal. Now, if I check out my watering station, looks like my pump is still running and the water sounds like it's still flowing. Now this hose is connected to the water system. Let's see if I can turn it on. Doesn't seem like it's going. But of course there might have been some ice that built up inside this hose because I probably didn't fully drain it. So maybe that's a problem, maybe it's not. I think there's really only one way to figure this one out. Seems like most of the muddy patch is frozen up. Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Belinda. Wow, did you guys look at how pretty that sky looks today? I'm really not sure if it translates well on camera here, but my gosh, is it magnificent. There we have baby B jumping the line yet again and ahead of everybody for the good grass. Good morning, Moo Crew. How's everybody doing? All right, let's go check out this water situation. Oh, dude, look at that. Still running just fine. That's great. Doesn't look like it spilled off too much water. What do you think, Toby? I think that's working wonderfully. Holy smokes. You know, I genuinely did not think that this device was going to work. I was very skeptical. And this is by no means a sponsored video, but I will leave an affiliate link down below because I don't know, this thing is definitely gonna help me this fall and into the winter, and it could help you as well. But wow, that is so cool. Yeah, it's like just letting off enough water so that it keeps the pipes from freezing up. So this water is coming from all the way down the bottom of the hill at that hydrant that you saw me at just a couple of minutes ago. Now it's running through this orange hose, and I have this orange hose connected into this Plasson Quick Connect coupler here, which connects to this polyethylene tubing that I have sitting on the ground, not covered or anything, that runs, you know, all the way down that distance to the bottom of the hill. I was very worried that this premise was not gonna work and my water line was gonna freeze and I was gonna have a mess on my hand this morning. You know, the principle of water consistently moving and preventing freezing makes perfect sense. My bigger concern was, would my water pump like potentially start to freeze and crack or create problems? Or would that, I don't know, about 1/3 of a mile of polyethylene tubing actually start to freeze and crack and cause a problem with the water getting up here? But the answer, my friends, is no. If you have that water constantly running, it will not freeze, at least at this temperature. Because mind you, it is still only in the 20s and winters here tend to get a lot colder. This is just like the very, very start, most basic of cool temps. Things are gonna get much, much colder around here very soon. Hey, Macho Man, how's it going, buddy? How are you? Oh, you want me to scratch you? Okay. I don't know if you've noticed, but Macho Man has sensed these two, and I think Belinda might be going into heat, so I gotta be careful. So far, he is respecting things, but it doesn't make him any less lovelorn. You know, I'm very hopeful that all 5 of my cows are now pregnant after spending the summer with Macho Man. Our young gal right here, she's gonna get separated pretty soon when I do the sorting and get everybody else down below. Macho Man and Joey Ramone are gonna go to one side of the winter yard, and all the other ladies are gonna go on the other. And they'll stay separated until like June of next year. Hey, Kels, come on, Kels, fresh grass, come on. Hey, Kels, come on, Kels, fresh grass, come on. Let's go, crew, come on. Crew to move, let's go. So this is kind of an oddity. All of my cattle are being a little bit lazy. Usually when I open up the fence line like that and call them, they just rush right through. But for whatever reason, I don't know, they seem a little slow. I do have to take down this entire fence this morning because I don't want to have to bother moving the water system. I'll probably leave that water in place for at least the next few days before I then migrate their system further down, just because it's a lot more of a hassle to set up compared to the water system I was using like during the summer months. I'm not too worried about the cattle overgrazing the area that they've already been because they're always much more attracted to the new grass. The other thing that you typically have to watch out for is more parasites, but since it's so cold, the parasite risk also drops significantly, so it's not really a concern either. And so what I'm gonna do is keep opening up those fences and keep moving them down the line until they get all the way down to the end where that red gate is. And then once they make it there, that's when I'll eventually migrate them down to the bottom of the hill and basically wrap things up and move them into the barn for winter. I was really worried that the cold was gonna force me to have to bring them down this morning, but apparently that doesn't seem to be the case. But I do seem to have some lazy, well-fed cows who don't want any fresh grass whatsoever. I'm just saying, they don't seem to want that fresh grass. But now, here they go. Now they're going for it. You can see down there, Macho Man was reluctant to leave his girlfriends. And that's why they call Audrey the boss cow. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm very glad that my cattle are gonna be able to stay up here for longer than I thought they would. I did try to bring my birds inside yesterday, but was confronted with some problems. They just didn't want to listen to me, and so I still let them out in the permaculture orchard, but I think because we have officially a stretch of cold weather, I'm gonna begin to migrate all of my ducks and geese and then eventually chickens into the hoop coop to be their winter quarters. But before I can do that, there are some pumpkins I need to pick. Alrighty, dogs. So we've been growing pumpkins in this greenhouse all summer, and I originally planted them with the intention of growing them for food for the birds. But so far, we've been eating them, we've been feeding them to the pigs, we've been selling them, we've been doing all sorts of things with these pumpkins. My little indoor pumpkin patch here has produced about 65 pumpkins so far, and I'm gonna grab some of the last ones that have just ripened and turned orange, and then everything else I leave in here is just gonna get picked over by the birds in the next week or so. Here's one we'll grab. This is one we'll leave. I want them when they're just turning orange or fully orange. Got down there, Pablo? More pumpkins? Would you look at that? Got a little butternut squash, I think. Whew, It's actually hot in here. Definitely don't need this. When this place is all sealed up, it's usually about 20 degrees warmer, and so definitely feeling a little bit too warm for how I'm dressed. But would you look at all these pumpkins? By my rough count, I think I have about 27 pumpkins here. There were actually these 5 that have like problems with them. So for example, like this one, you can see it really clearly. Like it's gouged out a little bit, and so that will spoil really quickly. So I will just feed these to the pigs. Now, most of these are going to either be eaten by my wife and me, or we're going to give them to friends. And I still actually have an order of 10 of them that I'm going to sell to somebody else. When we edit this video, I'll put up the full pumpkin accounting right here, so that you guys will be able to see just how easy it was to utilize this space to grow food for us, as well as to make a little bit of money, as well as to feed my animals. And the crazy part is, if you look around in here, there's easily probably another 40 green pumpkins on the ground that the birds will get into as soon as they move in here. And it really took very little work, you know? Basically put down pumpkin seeds and pumpkin seedlings at the start of the season once I cleared the bedding out of this space here. And then actually once a week, I would just turn on the hoses in here and I would be able to water it. I actually think the reason we've had such a good pumpkin crop this year relative to a lot of our neighbors is because this is undercover. And a lot of other folks who were growing pumpkins this year had problems with the wet summer. Like they had a lot of mildew problems, and because I was really only watering once a week and it was essentially ideal growing conditions, they just flourished. But quite honestly, it's got me thinking about how do I grow more pumpkins next year, because they are such an easy crop to grow. They're really good for our area. I like to eat them. My wife likes to eat them. The animals like to eat them. And so, yeah, I'll probably do more and even try to grow outside too, because I don't know, it's just so darn easy that I feel like, you know, taking a day to plant pumpkin seedlings and then, you know, manage them a little bit over the course of a summer and then be able to do a quick harvest like I've been doing. I don't know, it just seems like a good addition to my cadre of farm businesses. The variety of pumpkin that I've grown is the New England pumpkin pie or New England sugar pumpkin. It's really a sweeter pumpkin. It's got a higher sugar content relative to others. It's a really dense one, like it's solid like a squash, unlike say like a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, which is often very hollow in the middle. And so just in terms of nutrient per pound, it's way better for feeding people or animals than say like a large scale pumpkin. But that said, since I have so much space and I have so much compost, part of what I'm thinking about is maybe I try to grow the world's largest pumpkin next year. I don't know. What do you guys think about that idea? Let me know down in the comments. And yes, there's still other things like cabbage is still growing in here. We got clover. There's lots of amaranth scattered all throughout here. The buckwheat crop that I put down has actually been trampled and turned into straw, which is surprisingly also a good thing because that straw becomes the initial layer of bedding. Last year when I first brought the birds in, I probably had to put, I don't know, $60, $75 worth of straw down just to give them an initial area to use as their bird bedding. I'm not gonna do that this year. I'm just gonna let them move in and trample this stuff down and see how that does for them. And then as the winter goes on, I'll start to pile straw on. But then when it comes time in the spring again, I'll just come with the tractor and clear it out because, I don't know, this system seems to be working pretty well for keeping birds in a very cold climate through the winter and having it not be very difficult, having it be healthy for the birds. And then as you can see with all of these pumpkins, it also creates a lot of good food. Hey, Toby dog, did I wake you up from your nap? I'm sorry. I was gonna call Toby over and have him sniff the pumpkins, but he was napping and he seems a little cranky with me. He had a late night last night, and if you want to find out what his late nights typically look like, you should check out Toby Dog's book, Toby Dog at Goldshaw Farm. It's a novel I've written. It tells the story of Toby Dog when he was a puppy and he first came to the farm. I know so far you guys who've read it really love it, and even if you've read like the print version of the book, you might want to check out the audiobook because it's basically me narrating, and then I've got some really talented actors playing all the characters in the book. So it's like, I don't know, a 2.5 hour audio play. So you should probably check that out. I'll leave a link down below. You know, the other thing I'm gonna do this morning that I've been meaning to do and just have been putting off all summer is replacing this chicken wire fence with something a little bit more stable and substantial. Just because it's never been an urgent thing and it's not really a big task and it should only take me a few minutes, I'm gonna replace it now so that we can get these birds moved in here today. So I'm still dealing with a hand injury. Ow, I just pinched it and banged it really bad. Abby, you gonna kiss it and make it better? Thanks, sweetie. Once again, to the kind gentleman who gave me these are maybe one of the best tools I own on this farm. Thank you, sir. And now there we have a fence in about 15 minutes. I have no idea why it's always those like simple 15-minute tasks that you put off until the very last second when you need to have it done. I wish I could be better about that. Now the first birds I'm gonna move into their new quarters will be my most delicate birds. Morning, weird chickens. I know, it's not the usual. Things are a little different. It was a bumpy ride this morning. I am sorry. Here's some food, you guys. I know you're hungry. All right, now that they seem like they've settled in, let's go to the next animal. Of all the animals on my farm that are slaves to routine, there's no animal that compares to the duck. When I'm late feeding my ducks, they get angry and they tell me about it. And this morning I'm late in feeding them very intentionally because I want them to follow me with this bucket of grain that I have right here so I can lead them into the new area where they have to go. I can already see a couple of eager birds that snuck past the fence and kind of know what's up. Isn't that right? I see you three. Know what you're up to. Sometimes with ducks and geese, it's easier to chase them. Other times it's easier to attract them. I think today I'm gonna start by attracting and then it might turn into chasing. Of course, I like to think of it as herding, but it's more or less chasing. We'll set that right there. Open this area up for the birds. Come on, birds, let's go. I know you've spent all summer not being able to get through this gate. Come on, guys, you know I have the food. Let's go. You know what this orange bucket means. Okay, we're gonna move this a little bit further down now. Let's see if I can push and attract. See a couple of stragglers. I'll worry about them later. Close this gate up. Yes, they are some hungry, hungry ducks. Come on, ducks, let's go. Come with me. They're being a little stubborn today and they're kind of uncertain about this break in routine. And yeah, I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straggler ducks that I still gotta get up. Look at Abby standing guard. Good job, sweetie. Hey, Abby, you wanna help me get the stragglers? Come on. Come on, go join your friends. Come on, let's go. Go, 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 go. Come on. Hey, Abby, little help, huh? There we go, everybody out. That's what I like to see. Now, I still have this problem of they're in this paddock, but they're supposed to be in that paddock. You guys know I have more food that way, right? Come on. I give up. I'm just gonna see if I can attract them. I think the problem is they want to move in a straight line, but I have the chickens right up against that fence. Should have thought better about that one. That was my fault. I have an idea for a plan B. Release the clucking! And I think we can officially write off this kale plant here, so you guys can enjoy that as well. I need some help from you two. Come on, lead the way. You're gonna be my bait ducks. Come on, Serious Quack. That's for you too, Khaki Campbell girl. They're now around the chicken fence. I can pretty much push them straight through to where I want them to go. All right, I now got this whole crew inside. I still think I have like 3 or 4 ducks gotta bring down this way. And it looks like the ducks have ended up here, so we'll have to figure out what happens in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody.